Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Yvonne and I welcome you to the frequency. So today what we're talking about is past trauma, fear, there's just those type of experiences that everybody has in life. I'm just going to talk about from my experience and maybe if that can help you in any type of way. Of course, that's the point here. That's what I'm trying to do. I want to help spread whatever my truth is, whatever I have experienced in my life, and maybe it can help you in any type of way, maybe to look into yourself in that type of way. I'm on my spiritual path right now, and I'm really trying to discover myself, who I am, change old ways or ways of being. I was very fearful. It was because of a lot of past traumas that I've had, and I didn't know that those things were bothering me still. I didn't know that those things were affecting me in any way. You just think, okay, I went through this trauma. I went through this something bad that happened to me, and you think that, okay, well, it's over with and it's done because it passed, right? And it doesn't hurt me the same way anymore. It doesn't affect me the same anymore, but subconsciously it really does. And sometimes you need to seek help. You need to really speak to somebody. And the whole thing about the spiritual path and your spiritual journey is that you need to learn things about yourself, to evolve, to heal, to move to the next level of your of consciousness. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I've been really thinking about these past couple of months about, why am I so worried? Why am I so fearful? Why am I so angry? I've been angry for a really long time, and it was really hard for me to understand why I was so mad, why I was so upset still. And so I'm just gonna let it out. Just gonna tell you some brief experiences that I've dealt with and how my life is now and why I really want to change those things, because I don't want to pass it on to my child. I don't want to pass this on to my relationship. I don't want to pass this on, these types of things, if you don't change them, it affects your future as well. So you really want to dig deep within yourself and really do the work within yourself to free yourself from this trauma, free yourself from this fear, free yourself from all these different things that hold you down, that doesn't serve your highest good anymore. So so let's get into it. I don't know about this high pony, this half pony, half out. I like it though, it's cute. Leo's sleeping, by the way, guys, so let me be quiet. Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to talk about was my anger. So my anger, I've been angry for so long, like just catching an attitude for the smallest things, catching an attitude for, things that didn't need to be a problem. It was a problem for me. And I really didn't understand why I was so angry, why I was so disrespectful sometimes. Like, I could just hang up on you, or I would just be like, oh, just leave me alone. Like, I don't feel like talking to you. I would just be mean. And it's the people that I love, of course. Right? You hurt the people that you love sometimes. So I really just wanted to change that. I really just wanted to change the way I treated the people that I cared about, because in some way, shape, or form, I would express this anger toward them, and I really didn't know why I was doing it or why it was affecting me in that way. What I really wanted to change was because I'm in a relationship, I'm in a relationship and we have a child together. I really want to make this work the best way possible. I want to make this work the best way that it can work. I want to raise our child together in a happy and healthy environment. And you honestly can't do that if you're not healthy or happy mentally within yourself. You really have to really find out what's going on within you. So what came about was my husband was like, why are you so angry? Like, why are you so angry all the time? What did I do to you? And I really had to think about that. I really had to think, because people have asked me, my mom would ask me, why are you so angry? And people just ask me like with an attitude, and like, I really didn't think anything of it. But now I'm just like, why am I so damn angry? Why am I so upset? I don't need to speak to anybody, in in an unloving way. So the past trauma that I think that it was that led to this nonstop anger, or, you know, I wasn't just angry and rude to people all the time. I was just like, you know, it just happened. And sometimes I couldn't get out of that funk. Like, it was so quick to anger me. That's what it was. My mom was, when I was very young, I was probably like 11 or 13 or around that age, she got into a relationship, and it was an abusive relationship, mentally, physically, you know. It was like almost like a brainwashing sort of thing. Like, my mom was so in love with someone, and they took advantage of her mind and the way that she behaved normally, because my mom didn't behave like this. My mom is a very strong, independent, loving woman, and this person didn't make her seem like that to me anymore. And around 12 or 13 is when you're like developing, you're becoming a teenager, you're figuring out, you know, who you kind of are or whatever. You're trying to figure yourself out. So during this time is when you need your parents. Like, you need your parents all the time, but during this transition from childhood to teenager, you know, to teenage years, you're definitely going to need some structure and some type of and I'm not trying to blame her or nothing. I feel like my mom always thinks that I blame her, but like, things, it wasn't because, like, if it was somebody else, you know, it would still be that thing that was traumatizing. It doesn't mean that it has to be specifically her. And I feel like she has a lot of regret and guilt because of it. But honestly, I'm really trying to get over it. I'm really trying to move on past it. I just wanted to figure out where this anger was rooted from. You know, my family, sometimes when we were younger, like, it was like a lot of arguments and a lot of like anger towards each other. You know, it was just like, oh, people couldn't really communicate with each other in our family. And everybody was young too. My mom had me as a teenager, so, you know, everybody around is around her age, and there's always going to be conflict because you're a child or you're a kid and you don't really know how to communicate with one another. And so, yeah, there's arguments, there's fights, and I was alive at that time, so I witnessed and I've experienced this type of thing. But I was always like on the honor roll. I was always doing good in school. But up until this point, when this man came into her life, it really changed my perspective of my mother. It really changed the perspective of myself, because I was so kind and loving, and I was always doing what my mom told me, always doing what she, you know, wanted me to do. I was on top of school, and that was my job, you know, and taking care of my sister, of course. And the second part is that the abuse made me kind of turn on my mother. It did make me turn on my mom. Like, I was on survival mode basically, because the way this man treated her and the way he treated us made me just feel very protective. Like, anything that he said or anything that he did, I had to be protective. I had to be life or death, because I did not trust this man. So I had to be a certain way. And it took me a long time to even talk about, you know, what went on when I was a kid. It really took me a long time to really, you know, I buried that stuff a lot. I buried a lot of stuff in me, and I was just, you know, not paying attention to the effects that it was having toward me. I feel like that past trauma really turned on this anger, this snap, because I didn't trust anyone. Couldn't trust people anymore. And I couldn't trust my mom. Not even my mom I could trust it, because her mindset was so taken by someone else. Like, they were her, like they controlled her, who she was. So I didn't know her anymore. And so that messes with you as a kid, and you don't think that it does. I had to be myself. I had to protect my sister. I had to be good for me and her. And you know, my grandma was around, of course, and she would always try her best to like watch out and look out for us. But the main person that was supposed to was my mom, and she wasn't herself anymore. So this really turned away from me. This really stirred something up for me, and I couldn't let it go. Like, I was discussing this with my husband in detail about all the things that happened when I was a kid, and everything rose up again. Everything was so like, I felt like it happened yesterday. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. So if there's like a trauma, if there's something that's happened to you, really discuss it with somebody that you love and care about, somebody that's not going to judge you or something, anything like that, or like, oh, well, you did this, well, you did that as a kid. Speak about it from your perspective. Speak about it from your understanding on how things happened and why you think it bothers you now. You know what I'm saying? If something bad happens to you, go back to that. And I don't want you to go back just to like relive the trauma. I want you to go back as in, did I turn this off when I was supposed to turn it off? Because of those, you know, things that happened to me when I was a kid, the anger was always there. And I feel like I forgot to turn off that anger. And for like 11 years now, I'm 24, 11, 12 years now, I haven't turned it off because in the back of my mind or subconsciously, I still think that I'm in that situation. I still think that I have to be that way to survive, to protect myself from that person, protect my sister from that person, protect my family from that person. So, I think that this whole trauma thing is really like, trauma can lead to anger, trauma can lead to continuous fear, trauma can lead to things that you don't think is bothering you subconsciously. So I know things happen to kids when they're really young and they don't even remember. I'm just trying to relate to some of the people, select people that are really trying to find their spirituality, really trying to really change something within themselves, but they feel really stuck. And that's how I've been feeling for a while. I've been feeling really stuck because I feel like I don't know what I need to do next. And what I need to do next for me is speak my truth. I feel like people are not speaking their truth enough. They're not speaking their lives enough, their experiences enough to share it with others so people can learn. My grandma always was like, you know, like people don't think that I'm intellectual or I can speak because I didn't go to school for this many years. But she can teach you so many things beyond your years, beyond her years. She can teach you so many things by just speaking and experiences. This channel is a great way to express yourself. YouTube is a great way to express yourself. You know, just those different things. And I just wanted to come to you guys to let you know that, you know, this trauma is not you. This anger is not you. This fear is not you. These negative thoughts, it's not you. But I really just needed to ask myself why I was so angry. And I really just needed to figure out why was I so stuck on this anger, and why couldn't I just let it go? Why couldn't I just put it to rest? What comforts me and what I feel like I'm putting things to rest is to understand that I was in that situation for such a long time that I felt like I needed to be this way. It molded me, or it gave me a shell, basically. And I've been in that shell for so long, and little by little it's disappearing. Little by little it's disappearing, but I know how to be when it comes to those types of situations. And I just needed to let myself know that, Yvonne, you're not in that situation anymore. Yvonne, you're not hurting anymore. Yvonne, they're not going to hurt you anymore. And you don't need to express that way of being around people that actually love you. You don't need to be that way around people that actually care for you. Yeah, so I hope this has encouraged somebody, or, you know, maybe help somebody in any type of way. And I have another thing that I just wanted to let out on top of that, because I do have fear, and I have fear of things going wrong and bad things happening sometimes. And I feel like that's related to when my grandma was passing. You know, my grandmother passed in a way that was unexpected. She was dying, basically. And when you experience somebody dying, we found out she was dying a year before she died. So we knew that it was coming. We knew that something was going to happen. And I feel like a year of being in that, of being, you know, she's going to pass, and we're scared, and we don't know what's going to happen. We're just fearing the worst because that's what is going to happen eventually. So, you know, her death, and that was the worst thing that we can think of. And I feel like a year being in that, a year experiencing, you know, her in the hospital, her unconscious, you know, coming there to cheer her up, play music, anything that you can do for somebody, but but you know, we thought that she would be okay. We thought she would recover at some point. So it was really up and down. We really didn't know what was going to happen. You build a mindset of fearing the worst, basically. And, you know, she passed away, and it was just really sad. And it was really like I was heartbroken, you know? And I just felt like that also was a past trauma of fear, because I took it with me from that experience that, you know, expect the worst, basically. Expect the worst because something bad happened to you. And honestly, you can't think like that, because that is not the truth. That is not your life. That is not what is happening in your life. You want the best things in your life. You want amazing things in your life. You want to achieve your goals and just grow spiritually, mentally. Just wanted to let that out there, that you really have to pay attention and dig into things that may have happened to you, because there's a lesson that's in there. There's a lesson that there's something that you need to learn or take from it. That's all I'm saying. I know people have been through terrible, you know, things, and the world goes through terrible things. But I just wanted to say from my perspective how I am taking, you know, losses, how I am taking trauma, how I am trying to transform it and to build myself into a better, loving individual, a spiritual individual. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, things may happen and things may go wrong, but that doesn't mean that you need to think that life will be that way all the time, because it's not. I've came from the low of the low, and I have built myself. Me and my husband have built each other up. We have our son. We are building each other up in so many ways, and I feel like my spirituality needs me to go through these things. My spirit needs me to go through these things so that I can evolve and be the best person I can possibly be. And I just want to share this all with you guys, that there's love, there is light, there's so many amazing things to happen and to come. And don't let your trauma take over you. Learn from something from your trauma. Learn from what your experiences was, and to take that in life. Take that lesson, take that gem from whatever has happened, and move forward. Move to the next level. Move to the next way of being in your life. And I love you guys so much. And if you guys have anything to say to me, any comments, or anything that you just want to share with me, just let me know. Write it in the comment box. I know this is really deep this time. Well, it was deep for me this time to like really let it out to you guys. So I just thank you guys for participating and watching, and I love you guys.